Boo hiss on that. Just majorly failed there, and you're like not gonna meet the goal, just delete it or change it. Who fucking cares? Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some bookish goals, reading goals, whatever, for 2023. Oh, I suppose I should review my goals for 2022, huh? You see how I was trying to avoid that? No, wow. I just forgot, honestly. Where were they? God, I thought I was so organized. I have like my little list here on my thing, and here I am, not being fully prepared. The first goal that I had for 2022 was to read 30 books that I currently owned at the beginning of the year. I did track this. I did not read 30, but I did pick up 30 and either unhaul or read them. I'm going to cover that in a separate thing, I think, but like my year-end stats, this is going to be included there too. But yeah, I ended up picking up 34. I also had a goal of reading more nonfiction and more historical fiction. I don't think I necessarily did that. I only read, I think, 2 nonfiction this year, and I think like a small handful of historical. I might have read slightly more historical fiction, but not a lot. I then also had a goal of my book budget being $500. Yeah, just majorly failed there. Oh, Lord Almighty. I spent what I tracked $1,587 on books this year, which is a lot. And yeah, oof. I always say kind of like a fucking caveat, I guess. My income, I'm okay spending money on books. I am never going into debt to purchase books or anything like that, but definitely the end of this year, I had so many things come up with my house that I had to go into a bit of debt for. So I gotta be better with this in the coming year. But yeah, failed that goal for sure. And then I had another goal of just continuing, which I have been doing for many years now, but just continuing to pay attention to whether or not I'm reading diversely. It's something that is personally important to me, especially authors of color, of a variety of ethnic, cultural, racial backgrounds, etc. So I did do that, definitely. So happy there, yay. And the last one was that I wanted to complete at least 5 series on my ongoing series sheet, my spreadsheet. I did not complete this. I only completed 3 series this year, so boo hiss on that. So this year, I feel like my goals are pretty similar, with a little bit more like detail to try to help myself, I guess. My book budget, I'm putting for $700, which is like cutting in half what I spent this year. I wanted to be sort of realistic. I almost said like 300. I'm like, Joshana, come on. My Goldsboro like subscription alone would probably take me over that, I think, if I do it every single month. So yeah, $700 for my book buying budget, and also complete at least 5 series. Again, I do think it will be easier this year because I have tried to kind of plan out my reading a little bit. Not really, because we all know that a set TBR does nothing for me. It's like my brain just shuts off. But I do have a pile of possibilities reading challenge on Storygraph that has books that I just want to keep in the forefront of my mind. Books where I'm like, I could read and complete this series pretty easily. I already own all the books. So I just put stuff like that on that list just to, again, have it in the forefront of my mind. Because I think that's what happens with me sometimes, is I'll be like, oh yeah, I could finish 5 series, and that's just like out of sight, out of mind. I forget, like, oh shit, I should have started that one, whatever. So that's the idea. I want to, again, read 30 books that I already own physically. Again, part of my pile of possibilities. It's basically all books that I own on that reading challenge that's just for myself. I also kind of want to get more backlist stuff done, which is a lot of books that I own physically. So for every 5 backlist books, I will allow myself to pick up a new release from the current year to read that. And then to help me with the budget, every 3 books that I complete from my owned books, like my owned physical books, I will allow myself to purchase 1 new book. And then in an effort to help myself with the nonfiction, for every 10 fiction that I read, I'm going to pick up an owned nonfiction, so a book I already own that's on my nonfiction list. So all of that is on that pile of possibilities reading challenge, so that should help me get these started. I even used, like, for January, like, kind of my plans, my reading plans, not a TBR, not a set anything, but just to keep these books, like, hey, don't forget, like this, I have an arc of a novella. It's an e-arc. I don't want to forget about it, so I wrote it down. Buddy reads, like, oh, in this month I plan on buddy reading this with someone. And yeah, just keeping them in the forefront of my mind. But not necessarily, like, for February I have Shadow of the Wind and Clash of Kings and Angel's Game. I might only finish Shadow of the Wind in February and have to put Angel's Game to March. That's fine. It's not a set TBR. And that is really it for my goals. I would put some channel stuff, but I always post pretty consistently. I mean, I've been on BookTube for 5.5 years, and I think there's been maybe 3 weeks where I didn't post a single video. Most of the time, I've always posted at least 2 a week. When I first started, I was doing 4 a week. I don't know how I was doing that. I was just so excited. Reading diversely, I mean, I do still keep track of that on my my spreadsheet, but it's like such a habit now that I don't feel as though I need to necessarily have a goal written down for it. So there's that. That's just always something I kind of have in the back of my mind. And again, it's just something for me personally that I find important and want to make attempts at. I believe that is everything. Yay. Let me know what some of your goals are, your reading goals, or do you kind of not like to set goals? I am of the strong belief, I'm a firm believer in, if you write a goal down, you have a goal, and like, especially stuff like this, that's like your hobby, really, and you have some goal written down and you're like not gonna meet the goal, just delete it or change it. Who fucking cares? It's not that deep. It's not that serious. I do not feel like a failure of a human if I don't meet my goals for, again, particularly something that is a hobby for me. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined and have not already. Leave an emoji if you just want to make your presence known and say hi. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day and a happy new year, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.